Tonight, getting Britain back to work.
Good afternoon. Don't worry, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm trying to give you something. It's called a job.
But is it a case of can't work or won't work?
British people, they don't like long hours, hard work and very little pay.
Good evening and welcome to the Tonight programme. Figures released yesterday show the number of unemployed fell slightly to 2.65 million, but there are still over 1 million young people without a job, and the rate of unemployment remains significantly higher than a year ago. Despite that, many employers say they have got job vacancies, but just can't find the right staff to fill them. Tonight, Jonathan Maitland asks, why isn't Britain working?
Almost 30 million of us go to work every day, and we spend a lot of time at it too. It's reckoned that in total, each of us spends around 11 years of our life doing our job. But those numbers tell only half the story.
Work's hugely important for individuals, not just for the economy. You know, work provides meaning, motivation, dignity, and is very, very important for individual self-esteem and purpose in life.
A job, for many of us, is the cornerstone of our lives. So who wouldn't want one? Well, the answer, surprisingly enough, is quite a few people actually, because employers are telling us time and time again that they have plenty of jobs available, proper jobs, and yet for some reason people are choosing not to take them.
Or is it more complex than that? To find out, I went to Telford in Shropshire, where Unique Copiers, who sell and maintain office printers, are based. Managing Director Adrian Casey has been in the business for 23 years and is keen to expand.
This is the first office. We're opening 9 other offices throughout the UK, each with 35 people in. We've got clerical, we've got service, we've got salespeople. It's quite a vast sort of array, and I'm prepared to put in my money to retrain people.
Adrian had 30 posts going in the Telford office alone, in sales, servicing and admin, all with a basic starting salary of 18 grand. The sales job had the added perk of a company car. But even though he's been advertising since last summer, he's taken on just 13 people, despite placing adverts in the job centre and on online job sites. He's even tried handing out leaflets in the street, but without much luck.
They were giving out leaflets saying that we've got jobs and vacancies. And there are sceptics out there that won't believe me, but it was genuine. They were taking the leaflets and saying, oh, we're on too much money on the dole, and throwing them back at the staff.
Really?
Yep.
They weren't joking?
They weren't joking.
And how many leaflets did you give out?
I think there was about 500 that day.
And did it result in any?
Not one. I can't put it into words. I just feel so frustrated that people aren't prepared to come in and graft.
So that was Adrian's experience. Telford has suffered significant job losses in recent years. 9% of the population is unemployed, which is higher than the national average. So why aren't people biting Adrian's hand off? The answer, say some, could be to do with benefits, because sometimes the security of weekly benefit money can seem more attractive than a job.
Although dole payments tend to be low, at least people know that they're predictable. They know when the next cheque is coming, and it's easier under those circumstances to budget, rather than go into a temporary job and then come out of that temporary job.
We thought Adrian might strike lucky if he tried the direct approach again, so at our suggestion, he took his job search to the local shopping centre.
Hello there, sorry to trouble you. Are you currently employed? You're not. Are you looking for a job at the moment? Are you looking for a job? Sort of. It's a local business and we're recruiting quite a few people, and we're looking for local people to come on board. Telesales, sales consultants, copiers and office staff.
Time to ramp it up a bit.
People of Telford, good afternoon. Don't worry, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm trying to recruit people for a very successful local company. Have you got a job, sir? Thank you very much, sir. He just told me to asterisk off. Hello, sir. Have you got a job? So I don't need to shout. Seriously, have you got a job? Would you like one? Okay, so we've been hard at it for about an hour.
Yeah.
With the leaflets and the megaphone.
Yes.
We haven't done very well, have we?
No, typical of the sort of response that we're getting at the moment, unfortunately.
Between us, we handed out 50 leaflets, but unfortunately no one was appointed as a result. But to be fair to the people of Telford, sales jobs don't appeal to everyone. To see if Adrian's recruiting problem was a one-off, we did a survey of 2,000 small and medium-sized British companies. 39% said they were finding it quite or very difficult to recruit the right staff. And more than a quarter, 27%, said they currently had job vacancies they were finding it hard to fill. This is worrying, say leading companies and entrepreneurs. The difficulty of recruiting the right staff has serious implications for the economy.
Literally, the lifeblood of any business is the people who work within it. So if we cannot supply that, business has a problem. Business has a problem, the economy has a problem. The economy has a problem, society has a problem.
So, how do we solve the problem? David Cameron thinks the answer lies in training schemes.
We've got to get some sense back into our labour market and get British people back into work. We are going to spend up to £14,000 on individual people just to get them trained and back into work.
But when you've not worked for ages, and many haven't because more than 1 million are long-term unemployed, the way into work can be a...
One of the most important things you've got to do perhaps is that first meeting.
Telford College and many similar institutions are now funded to run training courses for the unemployed, but the take-up is patchy.
Quite often it's people's low self-esteem and self-confidence that act as a barrier to them access training or accessing work.
Mark, you volunteered to go first.
So I think once you give people back their self-esteem and self-confidence and actually demonstrate to them they've got something worthwhile to offer, then they engage. And we've learned that over many, many years of working with communities and adults in particular.
Anything in your life that's happened to you or an achievement that you're particularly proud of in your life?
The people here have all been out of work for a long time and are desperate. The one key thing they'll need, the college reckons, is the ability to perform in a job interview.
We've worked with employers to identify their pet hates, if you like, so that we can actually use that as part of our employability programme. So it is, sending in scrappy CVs, badly worded, poorly spelt letters of application, not showing up for interview on time, showing up in scruffy clothes. That's the starting point. But once they're in work, it's things like, taking too long on breaks, on their mobile phones too long, answering supervisors back.
It was at this point I realised we were missing something. Unique Copiers were desperate for more staff, and many people here were gagging for work. So, did anyone at the Job Club fancy working at Unique? Bingo, 4 were up for it.
Hello, my name is Julie Whitton. Until July last year, I was working as an exams officer.
Hi, I'm Alan. I'm 25. I've stopped working in September of last year.
Hello, my name's Graham Palmer. I'm an ex-aerospace engineer.
I'm Mark and I'm 21.
I've applied for approximately 50 jobs, but unfortunately nothing successful.
Unfortunately, I've pretty near been out of work now for 8 years.
I've applied for over 100 jobs, and if I don't get a job by the end of the year, my life is going to collapse.
Adrian agreed to interview them and give the best candidate a week's work experience. A permanent job with an 18 grand a year basic salary was on offer if things worked out. So there was a lot riding on it. He wants a smooth-talking salesman or woman, remember. First up, Julie, who used to work in education.
I have done sales in a previous life, but not this type of sales.
Okay. What sort of sales have you done?
I worked for regional newspapers up in Scotland and Aberdeen.
All right.
I wasn't terribly good though, I confess.
Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. Okay.
Next, Alan.
I've been out of work since September, but I've been doing a lot of voluntary work with a local charity, Severn Hospice.
Yes.
So I like to do something, because that's the thing I hate about not working the most, is not doing anything. There's only so much you can do with job search.
Yes.
Then Mark.
Have you got any sales experience in any way, shape or form?
The closest I've got is I was a pre-black belt karate instructor.
Whoa.
But that also involved dealing with people wanting to buy uniforms, sparring equipment.
Yes.
Finally, Graham, a trained engineer.
Why have I not been snapped up? Well, I'm afraid that I've got a bit of a back injury, I've now got a neck injury, and people don't really like that if in engineering, so I've struggled a bit.
Right, okay. Doesn't it affect your day-to-day life, though?
Yeah, it interferes, but I've managed to get round it since 23, so...
Right, okay.
Adrian decides none of them are quite right for his sales team, but one might be suitable for another role in the company.
Hello?
Hello, is that Alan?
Yes, it is.
Hello there, it's Adrian Casey here, Unique. I thought you were a lovely, lovely guy and you came over very, very well.
Yeah.
I'd like to give you a week's trial with regards to an apprenticeship.
That sounds really good.
So hopefully you'll start Friday?
Look forward to seeing you then. Okay, look forward to seeing you as well.
Cheers, bye-bye, bye-bye.
It makes me feel quite proud. It's seeing that I'm obviously capable and want to work, and it's given me the chance to, so happy about that.
And it is only a chance, nothing more. Alan has a week to persuade the company to take him on full-time. Another key angle here is the quality of young job seekers. Many business leaders feel that school leavers simply are, and this is putting it kindly, not exactly ready for the workplace. In our specially commissioned survey of 2,000 companies, more than half, 52%, said young people lack the human skills required for the workplace, like eye contact, good manners and punctuality.
When young people come out of school, they haven't got the basics. Just the simple things like motivation, getting up in the morning and arriving at work on time, being able to deal with people and knowing how to do that, being able to take instruction, being diligent. It's very, very basic stuff. Also, basic maths and English skills, for example, are missing.
With 20% of pupils leaving school with poor reading and writing skills, the government's currently reviewing the curriculum for English, maths and other core subjects. But Schools Minister Nick Gibbs says there's something else at play too.
I think there is something of a celebrity culture, that somehow my luck will come in and I will somehow become a multi-millionaire. There's only one really clear route out of poverty, and that is an education, a good quality education.
When you're in interview, your posture makes a massive difference.
These young people are all unemployed but want a job in retail and have come on a pre-employment training course at a shopping centre in Dudley in the West Midlands.
You can actually create an impression without even having spoken.
They're learning marketing and essential so-called soft skills like timekeeping, good eye contact and posture.
Now, if I look at the guys here, so Chris, what is your leg saying to me, sitting like that? The people that come on the course may have been unemployed for a while, and so therefore they're not used to things like getting up on time to come to the start of the course at 9:30 in the morning. Young men often sit like that, as you said, as a form of being comfortable. Often when I see people sitting like that at interview, I wonder whether they're holding something back because they're creating a barrier. Also, some of them come from families that have never worked, so they don't really understand the ethics behind working all day, every day.
This is all about shaping human raw material. Such courses, it's hoped, will eventually help thousands of youngsters into jobs.
If we looked at Fatima, what would we be saying about her body language? The transformation that you see over the 5 weeks is fantastic. Not bothered, bored. They come in, they're quite dowdy, maybe they're lacking in confidence. So folding arms does give the impression that you're bored. But then they blossom, they really blossom. Their self-esteem grows, their confidence grows. I had 2 young men on a course once who had their legs as wide as they possibly could. And I said, what is that saying? Somebody went, he's on you, miss. I said, I don't know what that means, but you're right, that's exactly how he makes me feel. The success rate of the course is quite good, actually, because we get approximately 42% directly into jobs. But there's always a core of learners that we won't be able to help, and it may be that they have other barriers that they need to address, or the fact that they're not really right for the industry.
Back in Telford, it's Alan's first day at Unique Copiers. He hasn't worked for 6 months and he's a bit daunted.
Morning, I'm Ken,
Morning.
Service
Alan.
Manager. Welcome to Unique Copiers.
It can be difficult with regards to new recruits. Basic things that we take for granted, such as certain ethics, like turning up for work on time. Some people will have the coat on ready to go at 1 minute to 5, that type of thing. And over a week, you will actually see somebody's personality and see what sort of character they are. And hopefully, Alan will be a good one.
Now, another way into work is an apprenticeship, which on paper seems to be a great idea. A young person gets on-the-job training and paid too. But it doesn't always work out that way.
So have you done the other one to match, or did you not have to?
Piers Hart is a master cabinet maker, running a small, successful workshop near Thetford in Norfolk. He wants to pass his skills on to future generations, but says the current crop of school leavers aren't interested.
I am quite surprised at the lack of success we've had in both attracting young people to come and work for us and in retaining them. What we have to offer is something really special, and if a young person stays with us and undergoes all the training that we have to offer them, they will end up a fully skilled journeyman, and they would be able to go and find a job anywhere in the country, indeed anywhere in the world. Apprenticeships are absolutely vital because if you don't train young people, you're not going to have a pool of skilled people anywhere in the business.
After years of trying and failing to recruit a local school leaver, Piers widened the net and found Paulius from Lithuania. He'd been working at a nearby chicken factory when he heard the workshop was looking for an apprentice.
It makes you feel really good when you see something you made, and it means that you just have a skill which you wouldn't have if you were just working in a chicken factory all the time.
We were first of all very impressed by his punctuality and by the fact that he did precisely what he was asked to do and that he asked the right questions. He was altogether an admirable example of the type of young person we would like to take on and give an apprenticeship to.
But why are so many apprenticeships unfilled? 12,000 in fact. Is the minimum wage for apprentices, £2.60 per hour, putting people off? Or is it, as Piers Hart believes, the fault of the education system?
Whereas a long time ago, young people would start to prepare for a trade from the age of about 14, they actually don't learn anything at all which is useful to taking up a trade before they leave school.
Dragon's Den occupant Deborah Meaden agrees. She runs a textile mill in Somerset. She's had trouble recruiting apprentices too and partly blames schools for placing too much emphasis on academic achievement.
We cannot get a child through school saying academia's it, and anything else doesn't matter, and then tell them at the age of 16, well, actually take on an apprenticeship because that's really important. We have to start it very early on.
In our survey of 2,000 British companies, 43% said education should be more vocational, giving pupils specific skills for the workplace.
Making things, manufacturing, a lot of those skills, they're not seen as aspirational. Wrongly, they're not seen as aspirational. So young people are getting through schooling, coming out the other end, and then thinking, well, you know, OK, maybe I'll give it a go. That's wrong. You know, manufacturing is important to this country. Young people should feel like this is something I really want to do.
But some apprenticeships have been criticised recently for being badly paid and exploitative.
We need to look at individual apprenticeship schemes to see whether they are going to lead to enduring jobs, what is the pay for people doing those jobs, and whether people are going to enjoy those apprenticeships.
Back in Telford, Alan is on the road with service manager Ken. Alan's customer service skills are being assessed, which for his potential employers is just as important as the technical side of the job.
Thank you very much. Well, you have a good day. See ya.
Now, another politically charged aspect to all this is the issue of nationality. The government wants British companies to give jobs to British workers, but it's not that simple. Here at Roast Restaurant in London, they serve traditional British food and say they'd love it to be served up by British staff.
One of the things that a traditional British restaurant would typically have is British staff. If they've got an English accent, does it enhance the reputation? It probably does. But equally, if the English accent comes with a bad attitude, it lets it down.
While some staff here are British and do work hard, the owner says that his experience is that many Brits simply can't hack the long hours and low pay.
Being a waiter, for example, is a tough life. Undoubtedly, it's not glamorous, it's not sexy. It's a lot of hard work for not much reward, and that puts a lot of the local people off. But luckily, there are other people around who are willing to step up to that challenge. Unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, they don't tend to be British.
Like restaurant manager Joseph, who's from New Zealand and agrees with his boss.
I tend to find with British workers, they'll just do the job and that's all they'll do. They don't feel the sort of the passion to do the extra mile, and this industry specifically is all about providing the extra mile.
A distance recently travelled by Sergey, who's worked his way up from waiter to general manager.
When we employ an English person, it doesn't take too long for the person to leave. It takes probably a couple of months and then the person leaves. The British people, they don't like long hours, hard work and very little pay.
But then again, who would want long hours and low pay? Perhaps it's not surprising that itinerant foreign workers are sometimes happier to take these jobs. Whatever the reality, the fact is that in our survey of 2,000 companies, nearly a third said they'd considered recruiting staff from outside the UK.
When employers say they prefer to employ a non-British person because they have a better work ethic, that is something that all of us, government, employers, society, does need to worry about. And I think it does go back to parenting, it goes back to what happens in our schools, and I think we do have to instill a work ethic.
Whenever there's an economic crisis, people start tending to blame the individuals, particularly blaming young British people. I don't think there's any evidence that would justify that. We've been fortunate, we've had highly entrepreneurial and very well-skilled people coming from Eastern Europe. And they are very gifted individuals, very unusual individuals. But no, the British youth are just the same as they always were, willing to take jobs when there are good jobs available.
If that's mucky, then you can get poor copy quality again.
Okay. Back at Unique, Alan's finished his week's trial, but has he done enough to be taken on full-time?
How's it going?
He's done his first week, and he's a very nice guy. We have decided to...
This is like the X Factor.
We have decided to give him a 3-month trial and take him on as an apprentice. So we're going to pay for his driving lessons, and hopefully in a year's time he'll be a fully fledged field engineer.
Well, that's wonderful.
It is fantastic.
I feel like I have a future now, because one of the big things for me is I didn't want a job, I wanted a career, and being given this apprenticeship could lead to a career, and I'm really happy about that.
Meanwhile, the other 3 who applied are back in the hunt looking for work. Thousands of British companies are in the hunt too, for workers.
The experience has been fantastic, and I thank you very much for that. However, the search continues, and we still need another 16 people.
With over 8% of the population out of work, the government admits unemployment levels remain far too high. Now, if you'd like more information on tonight's programme, please visit our website at itv.com/tonight. Until next week, though, good evening and thanks for watching.
Coming up next week, is Britain running dry? With half the country officially in drought, Tonight investigates whether our most precious resource needs to be managed better.
Nobody ever spoke about him, spoke about the secret.
It does hurt when all of a sudden you're rejected.
I want my brother back in my life. We found him. And his... Oh, God.
Long Lost Family is tonight at 9. Over on ITV4 next, it's From the Ashes, while here, we're back to Emmerdale.